Cancel and lease. Looks like a bunch of land leases were just canceled. Oh, they're sending me guns, and you sent me a bunch of guns. Oh, no, the guns they sent me just arrived too. These are actually their guns. Cool. I think these are their guns. Must be under. Maybe not. Yeah, it's like, oh, you got some guns now. Now I don't need to give you any. It's like, yeah, no, please give me the guns. I have uses for them. Alright. I just sent a bunch of sending a bunch of guns to Communist China. Did I just send them? No, I sent them a bunch. These are the maintenance levels. Alright.
Should I send my AAs back to the rest of the army?
So you send your anti-airs? Yes?
Yeah.
Sorry. I can't quite understand what you're saying. Something about send the anti-airs?
Should I send them back to the rest of the army? Now that they're resupplied in Zurich?
They're already up to regular. There's a delay. It's only been like one game day since you converted them. They probably haven't even received the new manpower yet. You click on them and it'll probably tell you they're still waiting for manpower. They won't drop to trained until they get the new guys. So the only time they drop instantly is if you convert divisions or men who are currently there to doing something new. Like if you turned it to an all tank division, everything was tanks. They don't know how to be tankers.
They don't have much organization, but their fighting strength's 100%. Looks like manpower is 100.
Oh, the anti-air guys?
The ones in Zurich?
Hold on. Sending at least to China. I'm trying to decide what to send them. I'll send them pretty much everything I got right now, actually. Because China tends to lose. They got plenty of manpower, just like the Soviets. Plenty of manpower, not enough guns to equip them all. Sorry, so come again? Let me check your
it looks like they're
stream.
It looks like they're at 100% manpower.
By the way, hello Camellia X1 on Twitch. This is a real person who periodically stops by. Oh, the real Soviets asking why Europe is fragmented. Maybe they're not a bot. If you click on the division, like the icon, the thing that looks like a skull with the wings,
yeah,
and hover over the thing with the men at the top, above, yeah, they do have full manpower. They're already retrained. That was quick. Yeah, you could send them. You could send them back, but they're still planning right now. If you see, how they're getting the planning. You don't necessarily need to.
They can plan over here too, right?
Yep. They can.
I guess they're planning too.
Yeah, it looks like there are enemy aircraft. So, yeah, actually, I might rotate them. Have them go to Vaduz, and the guys who don't have the anti-air guns fall back to Zurich. Because, the enemy has casts and stuff. The ones that have anti-air guns, are going to be better protected and more able to shoot them down. Even if you don't need 5 support anti-air to protect, let's say you only need 4 or 3, the extra ones will ensure that the division that gets targeted has anti-air and thus can shoot down casts. So, like, more anti-air will always increase the number you shoot down, whereas won't reduce damage taken past a certain point, and it'll still increase the casualties dealt, so it's still a good thing. Anyways, you control left click to assign there, and these guys you can just control left click there and strategic redeploy them back if you want, so that they will be easier on the supply network, basically. And they're
when do I want to have them actually march to the front?
When the guys who have the anti-air guns arrive there and are fully planned and or at least reorganized, but probably also fully planned, which is why it's strategically redeploy them so they get there sooner, so they can get the planning sooner. Also, you suffer attrition marching through mountains the slow way. So if the guys in the east move west and the guys in the west move east, and when the west guys arrive and are reorganized and planned, I would have them march the front. It was good to have some further forward in case the Swiss got pushed, then you could counterattack. But yeah, so I would just have those guys strategic redeploy back to Zurich. And have the other guys strategic redeploy to where they are. So it's a swap.
Yeah.
Those guys I might march forward eventually when they're fully planned, maybe. For now, they can just be in reserve in case of, or you could convert. It was really quick to replan an anti-air, so you could convert one of them to use anti-air guns if you want. It's up to you. But anyways, stop watching because it's harder. It makes things stutter. Sometimes I will drop frames. I only drop 0.2% of frames because I've set the bit rate right. But anyways, the real Soviet. Why is Europe fragmented? Europe is fragmented because this is a fragmented world star. It's an alternate set of custom rules. It's not actually fully fragmented, but every option to fragment something I checked. There might be more no compromise, no surrender. This is before that, so it might be that the United States can be fragmented in it or something, or there's more fragmentation rules for Japan or China or something. Oh yeah, it looks like the Norwegian NPR are winning in their counterattack against capitalist Norway. Which can only be because they're more organized than the enemy. The enemy actually has higher attack by a small margin. And of course they have the advantage beyond the defense. This guy's an infantry expert and leader. Why are they not getting... They should be getting bonuses from him. Commander bonuses. They probably are, I just can't see it. Alright. So the enemy has commander skill bonuses. That's weird. Could be that the guy Jacob Hogg is currently actually redeploying. He's not there yet. I don't know. Anyways, I'll pause it. So I'm sending guns to China, and I'm also going to try and... Actually, I think when I send them to Trotsky... Let's see. Oh, I can send guns to Trotsky, because there's a neutral route to him. And they don't require convoys. Yeah, do not forget, by the way, Joe, when Lease to Trotsky is done, to send him some, guns. You're saying convoys, so you could send him guns, because you don't have enough convoys.
Yeah.
He's probably more amenable to joining your faction, if for no other reason than he doesn't have the home of the revolution national spirit, which allows the creation of factions. Even though Stalin won't create his own faction, the fact that he could do it will make him less likely to want to join yours. Also, Trotsky will be much more aggressive about spreading communism to other countries, and he tends to invade less. Stalin tends to invade, whereas Trotsky tends to use ideological rallies more, which is probably better because Stalin AI has a tendency to invade a bunch of countries, and because the AI is so bad, not actually succeed in taking him down. Yeah, I'm playing as Syria, real Soviet onion. I'm going to be swapping to Norway eventually later, but I picked a random country. This is a branch of my single player game where I started Syria. I thought I'd form formables and stuff, but the world situation made it impossible. And I joined Norway's faction, and that ended up being an impossible situation because eventually Norway ended up at war with the US because Finland joined the US faction. And then the Soviets declared on Finland, Sweden, and Denmark. And then the mutual wars rules meant that Sweden joined the US faction. At that point, it was at war with the US, so that can be avoided here by capitulating Norway and Sweden before the Soviets declare on Denmark. Denmark is a puppet of the NPR, so when Denmark was declared on, the Soviets would be at war with NPR. Of course, this can all be avoided if the Soviets join the faction, which is why it'd be good if the Civil War went for a while, so that so that you can follow Moscow and not have to silence some more important focus or stop. Right now you're gaining political power, which is good. But when the time comes, as soon as their civil war is over, you can do the follow Moscow thing and try and invite the winner to your faction. So they might say no, and I suspect Trotsky is more likely to say yes, even though your leader is considered Stalinist, but your sub-ideology is Leninism, not Stalinism, so that's weird. It's because you haven't actually picked. You chose the British Communist alternative. Stalin would hate you if you choose to follow Moscow. Stalin like you. I don't know who Lenin likes more. Anyways. Either way, you want the war to drag on, if for no other reason, so that their generals can get good, because one way or another, the Soviet Union remained intact after the Civil War. But later they'd be at war with others who could, carve them up. And their starting generals are bad, especially Stalin's, because they're all cowed by Stalin. And the AI doesn't prioritize removing that debuff nearly enough. Whereas Trotsky doesn't have to deal with that debuff, and he gets a lot of the best generals. So if he loses the Civil War, all his generals are gone. He's still around, by the way. He's actually also, at the same time he's leading the Soviet Union faction, he can be two places at once. He's Schrodinger's Trotsky. Right? You want to know where else he is?
Where?
Norway. Norwegian People's Republic. He is one of their generals and a political advisor, potential political advisor too.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's multiple Trotskys.
I think of it more like he's multitasking. Maybe that's why he's so bad at every one of his tasks, because he's trying to be a general, a political advisor, and leader of a country all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so he does a really bad job of all three. I mean, really, he lowers the stability while at war of the Norwegian People's Republic. Wait, they're gaining stability while at war? That doesn't make sense. Do I have that trait in reverse? It says at war, 10% stability gained for the NPR. What the heck? Maybe I misunderstood what Trotsky does. Let's see. Do they have Trotsky? It would show up as a recruitable population. Nope, they don't have Trotsky yet. Oh, it's because of the permanent revolution spirit. That's why. Offensive war stability modifier plus 30%. So they actually gain stability while in offensive war until October. That's right. But yeah, they haven't hired him yet, but they will hire Trotsky if I haven't swapped to Norway by then. And he's actually a really bad political advisor. You usually shouldn't take him. He's like a mix of he's basically like a superpowered Prince of Terror. He gets really high non-core manpower, but he lowers stability when at war. So you don't want him usually.
Yeah.
They have better advisors. By the way, Norway, the capitalist Norway, has a communist advisor, so they will actually, given enough time, by enough time, I mean like somewhere into 1948, they'll eventually flip communist on their own. Of course, by that point, they'll either be defeated or they'll be in this side of a U.S. faction that's probably victorious if the war goes that long. Through the superior industry and manpower of the USA, which is super powered in this. If you didn't catch it, the U.S. has a leader trait. This is the United American States. They have a superpower leader, and the New Deal never expires. Because the New Deal is normally removed when FDR dies or loses an election. Because FDR is not present, that never triggers. So they can keep New Deal past 1944, which is normally the latest you can keep it, is if FDR wins re-election in 44 and then proceeds to die the same year, like historically happened. Because that's scripted to happen. There's no randomness to it. New Deal disappears. Truman was not loyal to the New Deal historically. Truman was pushed into the vice presidency through the rigged 1944 party convention because the Democratic Party bosses wanted someone more conservative in the presidency. They knew FDR was going to die. So they rigged the convention. They tried to rig the 1940 convention as well, but FDR threatened to resign from the party ticket if they did it. They didn't want Henry Agood Wallace, who was more left-wing than FDR, to be the president. So they rigged the party convention in 44, and they almost did in 40 as well. So Henry Agood Wallace was also a friend of in favor of friendship with the Soviet Union. He didn't want the U.S. to turn on the Soviets after World War II, which is what Truman did. And Truman was, a fierce, virulent, mind-wormed anti-communist, Truman Doctrine. Anyways, but they never lose the New Deal with the Native American Council in charge, and they'll have more recruitable population they ever would have gotten normally, and they have daily democracy support, which means they're even harder to, try and flip. In fact, they're pretty much impossible when you combine that with Home of the Free. You need to send like 40 spies. You need like 4 nations with 10 spies each working on them or something to flip them. It's not going to happen. You pretty much have to with their war. Whereas normally it's really hard, but with enough spies you can get the U.S. to go like communist or fascist with spies. Well, if they're not the right-wing Democratic path where they can hire McCarthy, in which case you're not going to flip him communist, but you can still flip him fascist under him. Anyways, Trotsky is an NPR general, though. I'll get to play with him when I swap to Norway. He actually is more skilled because he's not level 1, and like all the NPR generals are level 1, so he's actually their best general. Although the AI doesn't use him enough, so he probably won't be any more skilled than the others by the time I actually get to play with him. How are you doing for political power?
132.
Oh, cool. You're almost to the point of being able to take war propaganda.
Yep.
Where'd you send that colonial division? That? It looks like it's not the one in Bergen.
Oh, I sent it to Newcastle, it looks like.
Oh. Okay. The Swedes will do naval invasions, although and since you can't stop them while you're not at war with them, you might want to actually, it occurred to me, you might want to put some more divisions in Jutland, in the victory points in particular. Like in Elberg, Viborg, and Kolding. Because if they land on one of the victory points, they'll get some local supply, and if they capture enough victory points that way, then they'll capture the factories there. So you might actually redistribute some more of the divisions to the Jutland Peninsula for lack of anything better to do with them until they can actually join the war.
I can do that.
Oh, you got a naval invasion, a naval battle going on against the Bulgarians right now?
I do.
Yeah, it looks like you and the French
Yeah,
both
I do.
lost a submarine against a group of destroyers. Do you have any surface fleets in the Aegean? Because you were just losing subs for no reason there. Otherwise,
I think so.
patrol forces, strike forces. I mean, you're gonna have to know the naval game is the UK.
They're docked, but they're set to strike force. Or are they just sitting there in the docks?
In Aleppo. Hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know why those guys are all sitting there. You could send them to patrol in the Aegean. That will sometimes do the trick. Then they'll actually look for a fight. They zero right now because they haven't arrived yet. You'll have to remove them in the other sea zones because they can only patrol one place at once, and you won't want them doing it in the Mediterranean. You want it in the Aegean. But if there's enemy fleets there, that they'll actively go looking for a fight in the Aegean. It'll consume fuel, but they'll eventually find the enemy surface fleets and kill them if they're not sitting in port or something. You might want to set one of those groups in the Eastern Med, though, because it looks like the enemy has fleets there too.
One group.
One of the task forces, maybe the slowest one. I don't know what's in the Eastern Med. If you click on it, it'll give you at least an estimate of what's there. 8 ships.
8 ships.
No idea what type they are. Although, based on the supremacy, it's probably bigger ships. Because you can see that you have 11 and the supremacy is against you, which means their ships are probably bigger.
Yeah.
Yours are probably subs and theirs are probably surface ships. So I'd set one or two of the task forces to doing that Eastern Med and the rest in the Aegean. You know, maybe the slowest one because it would have taken longer to reach the Aegean. I don't know which is your slowest fleet force.
Mostly early heavies.
Yeah. That's a big group too, so it'll make mincemeat of whatever, like probably like 8 destroyers. You set all 4 task forces to patrol there. I was saying just one of them.
Mm.
Yeah, you can split it up.
Okay.
You're gonna want to select individual. Well, you have to activate the patrol order.
Oh, I see.
And then select a different task force and set them to a patrol order differently. You're setting them all to the Aegean again.
Yeah.
I'm
These
saying
ones
you
should be in the Aegean, this one in the Eastern Med. Oh,
probably. Yeah, you just shift right click the Aegean with only that task force selected. Oh, maybe it does all. Shoot.
I think, yeah, I can't give them individual orders.
You might have to put them under a different admiral then, or a different fleet anyways. If you want them to split their orders like that, you might need to have the slower task force under a different admiral.
I swear I've had it before.
Yeah. Oh, you could also set all 4 to patrol in both regions, and it'll automatically split 2 to each. Although I can't tell you which 2 to put in which.
I guess that works.
Yep.
Yeah. 2 and 2.
Yep. But the only possible problem here is that one of the task forces has no escorts. The slowest group has no escorts at all, so if they get caught by destroyers, you might lose a capital ship to destroyers, which would be embarrassing. The easiest counter to that is to take some of the 25 kiloknot destroyers, which are still older and create a new task force with them and then merge that task force into the slowest so that it has a few escorts. I wouldn't do all of them, but
4?
Probably 5 or 6. You need, a decent amount of screening.
Okay. There it is. Okay. There we go. They've got destroyers now.
Cool. Cool. Let me know when you're ready to unpause.
I think I'm ready.
Cool. I get to watch your task forces go. The only problem is when they arrive in that naval. Did they make it before the fight was over?
I don't think so.
Well,
Damn.
they're still there hunting for whatever.
Patrolling now.
Yeah, they'll eventually find any task forces that are active in the region. I'm assuming convoy escorts are eligible. I know they'll find patrols or convoy raiders, but I think they also find escorts because they would have to move alongside the convoys to protect them, in theory. The only thing they won't find are strike forces, because strike forces are actually just sitting in port waiting to leave.
Yeah.
Although if a strike force, if they engage something and the strike force leaves, then they'll engage the strike force that way. Let's see. Checking how onto my divisions. They're actually gaining heat and acclimatization as they move through the Mediterranean because it's hot off the coast of Spain, which is unfortunate. Here was disbanding all but most heat acclimatized, and they're going to be fully heat acclimatized by the time they reach Norway, just through the vagaries of hot weather. Well, you can't control what the weather is, you can just try and plan around it. But yeah, send guys to Bergen, and then they're going to finish their training in Bergen and get cold acclimatization, or at least not gain heat acclimatization while they're there, is the hope.
Hey, I got a new division.
Yeah.
Should I be training the divisions I have in my in Norway? I got a couple that are green and trained.
I would definitely train everyone to regular, and yeah, the NPR is doing a decent enough job holding Bergen. I might just send those guys I'd send people to Jutland Peninsula, because when the AI, they've gotten smarter with naval invasions now. They don't just land on the ports, because the ports are usually defended. They land on the ports, and they land next to the ports, because then they can march overland to the ports, and they land on victory points, because victory points have a little supply and can screw up your industry or your compliance if it's occupied territory like this. Oh, shoot, or no, that's your fleet. I was gonna say it looked like the NPR decided to pull their division from the Jutland Peninsula. I'm like, oh, they're gonna get sunk. That's your division, which is presumably landing on the peninsula instead. Okay. It's like coming or going. Coming or going. But yeah, you don't have anyone in that port in the northern tip of the Jutland Peninsula. Our house is already defended by an NPR division. That's the only place you don't need a division. But you could spread divisions out along the coast and along the ports. The worst thing is an undefended port like the one at that tip of the peninsula. So I just draw fallback lines like around the area. Every single province that has a port or is adjacent to one should be defended, ideally. Which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Pretty much the whole coast.
Pretty much the whole coast, yeah. Because, I mean, ideally, the whole coast. So you give them no unopposed landings, you know? Definitely in victory points. Like Sonderburg is the victory point for Southern Jutland. So they capture it and they wipe out 2 civ and 2 dockyards until it's recaptured. So you probably want someone in Sonderburg, even though there's no naval base there. Because they give them control of the state. And local supply. So yeah. That's something useful you can do. I mean, your guys won't engage the Swedes if they attack before you join the war. But you can have your guys fully entrenched and ready to defend, you know? And if you see an invasion incoming, maybe you join the war at the last second. And the key thing is that way you don't have tons of divisions in Bergen crushing the local supply like you did before. What?
I can run war propaganda.
Nice. Nice. And your stability is kind of low, so you might want to do Union support factories or war propaganda after, because those both increase your stability. You have 8% stability, but you can improve that by getting trade union support. Each decision gives you 5%, so
yeah,
you might want to run some of those things, and that means not running focuses for a while. I mean, there's a lot of things to do with political power. There's, you know, pointing, you have a chief of the army, navy, and air force, all. But yeah, so you're running war propaganda, and if you scroll to the bottom, trade union support for war propaganda will get you even more war support, actually. And this will enable you to mobilize your economy. What are you seeing at partial mob right now? Yep. You will eventually be able to go straight to total mobilization once you have enough war support. It'll take a bit, 80%, but as world tension goes higher, you'll gain it. And you'll get some from the war propaganda, some from the trade union war propaganda support, and some from domestic films or whatever and radio propaganda if you haven't done it. So a lot of ways to gain war support so that you can, you know, fully mobilize your economy. And then there's also raising conscription laws, because if you're a total mob, you'll need at least extensive conscription and probably service requirement. So yeah, you got a ton of uses for political power. I'm not sure any of the focuses you have available are actually better than just gaining political power, except maybe naval rearmament, because that's 3 dockyards and 50 Navy XP. And then that's 2. So, yeah, there's some Navy stuff, but right now it's mainly a land war. So it's a long-term benefit, but short-term, you know, mobilizing your economy so you can buy more guns is probably more important. It's like, you know, if the UK had won the land war against the Nazis, they wouldn't have needed to deal with controlling the Atlantic. So, you know, don't repeat the mistakes of history thinking that you can just fall back and use the English Channel as a moat. If the Nazis had overrun the Soviet Union or had a little more time, maybe overrun Switzerland and brought Spain into the Axis and Turkey, which they're recording into the Axis, finished off Yugoslavia and Greece, you know, would have become a lot harder to displace them from Europe. Maybe pushed back the Soviet Union and built the East Wall that they were thinking about. They didn't think they could take the whole Soviet Union, so they had a plan to push the Soviets back to some naturally defensive terrain and just build a line of forts and just hold the Soviets there. Which, I mean, I'm not sure that was a good idea, but it's easier than pushing, you know, the Soviet Union until it surrendered. It's something, you know, there used to be, before they reworked Germany's tree, they had a focus for that. I don't know if they still do, but Germany doesn't exist in this alt history, because Europe, you know, you notice they're just all these little kingdoms instead. Nobody has the German focus tree.
It's kind of weird. I expected Prussia to.
I'm glad they don't.
Yeah.
I am really glad that they do not. Alright,
I don't think there's an Italy either.
Shoot, what rifle types do I have? None of that, apparently. Four rifles, 3 rifles. Shoot. Yeah, I am desperately short of rifles. Joe with the big factory count. I like big factory counts. I cannot
I'm out of
lie.
fuel.
Oh,
I should
import
get
some fuel.
Oil. Yeah, I have. How did I not notice? I had 0 fuel.
That might impact the effectiveness of your navy.
Yeah, a little bit. Should I buy from Iran or Venezuela?
Venezuela doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, I mean, the South American nation that's there. Ismo Amerindian state.
The Marin, yeah, the I see the Ismo Amerindian. Well, they're in the New World, so you're not going to be able to conquer them or anything anytime soon. Whereas Iran will eventually get attacked by Iraq. They will do probably the rally the Arab world. Iran ultimatum. They might just claim territory.
Oh, Iraq has a focus tree.
Yep.
I did not realize that.
So yeah, and the Soviets might eventually attack Iran, and if they're in your faction. So a lot depends on a lot of things, but yeah, Iran's probably gonna end up in the Central Powers if we haven't capitulated by them, because they'll be at war with us. So they'll join. So Iran hostile. You already have the oil in Iraq, right? Because they haven't nationalized the oil yet.
How do I tell?
I'm looking at it. You have oil. You still have the resource rights. Eventually, they'll get them back or something. Maybe not.
Oh.
They might just do the Anglo oil. But then they'll demand a greater stake in the company, which will remove your resource rights. Either way, you're going to eventually lose those resource rights. So you won't have the free oil forever. Who else can you buy oil from? I'm asking you. I can see that most of the same.
The USA.
Which you're probably going to go to war with.
The Dutch East Indies, Mexico, Malaya, the Inca.
Can you reach Azerbaijan? Or no, you probably don't have a land connection to them.
No, I can't trade with them.
I'd probably get British Malaya, preferentially. And whatever you can't get from them, I get from the Dutch East Indies. Because, Malaya, very easy to flip communist. Dutch East Indies, not as easy, but at least they're neutral. And they can both be flipped communist eventually and brought into the faction. So.
Okay.
With spies. What is the MI6 doing right now? Or MI5, whichever.
They are infiltrating civilian administration in Romania.
Oh. Yeah.
In 37 days.
Yep. And you're probably losing your intel strength in Austria because of that, right? You had some residual. Because you were spying on Salzburg earlier.
Yeah. But it doesn't even reach Tyrol, so...
Yeah, so it wasn't doing much good, except for, you could try and, the Austrians probably have some counterintelligence. How many operatives do you have?
2.
Huh. That's probably enough to start working on flipping British Malaysia. They won't need much of a push. And if they flip communist, then your communist support will give you trade influence with them instead of your democratic support. So you'll have more trade influence with them if they flip communist. They'll also like you more because they'll be the same ideology group. Maybe even the same sub-ideology. So after Romania, I might send the agents to flip them communist. You'll have to build intel strength first. And then once you basically got a strong intelligence network, then you can boost ideology. It'll take like a year or two, but it's a good use of the spies, probably, given how much resources they have. Oil and rubber.
Yeah.
The Eastern Gates will take a lot longer. It probably won't take. It'll probably take a year and a half at most. I was doing my single player game, but I was fast forwarding a lot, so I'm not sure exactly how long it takes. It does happen though. Once the communist support gets high enough, they'll flip. They can get events that flip them sooner, or they get elections, they actually don't have scheduled elections in British Malaya, so they'll have to wait for the events. But yeah. The Kingdom of Westphalia actually has a little oil. Not much, though. Yeah, they haven't expanded their oil fields at all. Oh well. They'll eventually do that. There's a resource extraction decision. They'll have more oil. Anyways. I'm pausing. Oh, shoot. Are you okay with me? I'm pausing? Forgot to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. I'm pausing. But yeah, oil from the Malaysia and East Indies.
Oh,
They're unlikely to...
Like